And we're live. Hello and welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to be here today and have you today. My name is Sebastian. We have this first of a kind event today, the pitch battle of our product managers. I hope you're as excited as we are. Well, my name is Sebastian, as said. I'm the head of hybrid cloud build team DACH and also the developer advocacy leader in DACH. And with me, I got Miriam.
Yes, hello from my side. My name is Miriam Oglesby and I'm Strategic Programs Leader for Developers and our ecosystem in Europe. And it's great to see so many of you joining. We're really glad you're joining us. So while we are all getting settled and before we get started, get comfortable. I just have a couple of housekeeping items. So if you are new to Crowdcast, a big extra special welcome to you. This is our IBM Developer European channel, and we have lots of free talks and hands-on workshops with experts from IBM, our ecosystem, and beyond. So if we do a little tour of Crowdcast, you'll find the chat on the right, where many of you are telling us where you're joining us from today. It's great to see you. Hi, Corinne. Hi, Alex. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Joanne and Maria. Great to see you there. Thanks for your messages. Keep chatting with us today. We also have an Ask a Question at the bottom of the live stream where you can put questions in for our speakers, and there they won't get lost in the chat. So we'll make sure we get answers for you. You can also vote on questions there which have already been asked, and they'll go up to the top. Hi, Hytham. Hi, David. So at the bottom of your live stream, there's a polls function. So if you click on polls, there's already one there for you to vote on. Please let us know if this is the first time you are joining one of our IBM developer events. A big welcome to you. So one last point from my side. This session is being recorded and the replay will be available straight after the live stream has finished. So if you hit refresh in your browser, you can access it with this link with crowdcast.io/product manager pitch battle, and you can watch it again and again to your heart's delight.
Exactly. Thanks, Miriam. So, we really prefer Crowdcast because it's very interactive, as Miriam said. So we hope you are really open, to ask questions a lot, and also not only get in touch with us, during the event, but also after the event. So while we are waiting a little bit for more people to join, let me quickly explain sort of the idea behind this first of a kind event here, this pitch battle. It's really about the most important technology aspects or areas that we see today, from data over business automation, network automation, integration, AIOps, to security, right? I mean, there's so much that you need to consider today when you create a new solution, when you run business, when you try to create the next big thing, or to digitize your enterprise even more, right? I mean, there's so many things to consider. And we thought, well, why don't we offer sort of a 10-minute overview on the sort of the highlights of each of these technologies. And I'm very happy, that we were able to win our product managers. So the people who really shape the future of our roadmap, so shape the future of tomorrow's products. And so you should also note down their names and get in touch with them afterwards, maybe by email or via social media, because these guys, they influence and set the roadmap. So you could maybe squeeze in features, ask feature requests, get details about the products that are coming up. And today is really just the kickoff of the journey. Yeah. So today you're going to really just learn sort of the highlights also from their point of views within 10 minutes only. You're going to have some time for questions. Later, I'm going to explain a bit more in detail. But as said, today for us, really, it's about getting you the kickoff of the journey, I would say. The topics that we cover are here. It's exactly the same flow. So we're going to start with data at 1:15, where we have Beate then explaining us the things around the data technology, data topics, right? So everything that you see today is really also as said from the product managers. We have then, we're going to have then Bill talking about business automation. We're going to have Morgan about AI ops. We're going to have Andrew speaking about integration, Aidan for network automation, and we're going to have James then for security piece. I'm also very happy that we have Gerard on board today. Gerard is really here to sort of help you and help us more finding the synergies of all these technologies, right? Of all these 6 areas. I think the important piece really is to note down the flow. Here's the agenda for you once again with the timing. Please join the entire 2 hours. I really hope you can make it. The recording, as Miriam said, will be available directly after the live session. Yeah, so good opportunity also to maybe recap or maybe share the link with others, pointing out maybe some highlights that you find yourself. Very exciting. But before we going to start with Beate, with the first pitch, Gerard, I would like to ask you to come on stage and explain more the synergies around these technologies from your point of view. And by saying this, don't waste any more time. Gerard, the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Sebastian, Miriam. So first, a few words about me. I'm cloud architect at IBM. I worked in the last 5 years in this area. And in front of that, I spent almost 10 years in a project with integration. So I know a little bit the area, and you will hear me twice today. Once with the introduction about what Cloudpack have in common, and a second time at the end, where I will try to bring you a capability how to move forward and to accelerate your move with hybrid technology. So first, on this one, I would like to dig into different capabilities that are covered with the Cloudpack. So, and this capability, before we see that in the different Cloudpacks, I thought it was important to think about what we call Cloudpacks, what they are, how they are built, and especially where and how they can be installed. So the general wording around Cloudpack is that this is almost everything that become the foundation for IBM software and services, which means that Cloudpacks represent a structure with different layers. They are used to build solutions. They contain software packages, and they live on the Red Hat OpenShift container platform. One very important point, the Cloudpacks are all fully modular and follow the construction kit paradigm. So that means you can install one Cloudpack, you can install the second Cloudpack. They use the same platform, but they use also the same philosophy and the same, I will say, stack, how they have been built. The specific value is also that solution built on top of them rest on the hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure, which is completely vendor independent. In that way, you can deploy solution on AWS, on Azure, on Google Cloud, on IBM Cloud, or your own data center. The basis for all stay OpenShift as the container orchestration system. IBM Cloudpack's offering run anywhere and integrate everywhere. I think this is the most important thing, anywhere, everywhere, and modular. The beauty of that is that the concept provides many data operation also, like security, patches, fixpack, interoperability, testing among dependent middleware components, rollout, rollbacks, and if you use the platform, the Cloudpack platform and the hybrid platform, you get also some backup and restore capability. If we look into more detail at the different layers on the screen, starting from the top, any delivered hybrid solution can be combined with AI-driven technology and workload services. And they are built on the packs. On that way, enterprise can unlock innovation across business domain and industries. The second layer, the hybrid cloud software, provides the necessary enterprise application middleware, automation, data, AI management, security, capability to accelerate the delivery of the enterprise. This is the PAC level. At the bottom, the hybrid cloud platform provides the environment that maximizes client choice through integrated offering for hypervisor, operating system, container, and container orchestration. Having an integrated platform strategy that spans public cloud to data center and to edge is necessary to support scalable and distributed architecture. That's all for me now. I will come back, as I said, later after the Cloudpack presentations to talk about how to accelerate the PAC deployment. Thank you for now. Back to you, Sebastian and Miriam.
Awesome. Thank you, Gerard. Thank you so much. And now you can see the rules here that are going to apply for the 6 pitches. So as said, the product managers are going to present their technology areas, right? So, and as you learned from Gerard, we call them internally, we call them Cloudpack, right? There's a Cloudpack for data, there's a Cloudpack for business automation, a Cloudpack for AI ops, a Cloudpack for integration, Cloudpack for network automation, Cloudpack for security, right? So we sort of bundle technologies into the so-called, we call it Cloudpacks. So forget the name Cloudpacks maybe for now, it's about technology. And the technology leaders, product managers here, they're going to have 10 minutes each, yeah, to present. You're going to see maybe this little traffic light that I see in my hand right now, yeah. So I will sort of play I will watch the clock, and 3 minutes before the time ends, I will give our product managers, our pitchers, a yellow traffic light, and also maybe shout out 3 minutes left. And then 30 seconds before the pitch ends, again, you know, the traffic light would go to red, and I would say 30 seconds left. Then we're going to have the time maybe for 1 or 2 questions that you might have. We'll see, you know, so we have a little bit buffer, sort of 5-minute buffer between the pitches, maybe for questions or anything else that might come up. And let me tell you maybe 1 or 2 more things before we start with the first pitch with Beate explaining us about data. This, as said, you know, this meeting today, this event today, is really just the kickoff of a potential journey that you can go with us. We prepared, so after this event today, you could deep dive more into so-called discovery workshops. It's a half-day workshop, totally free of charge, and you can try out the Cloudpacks yourselves, right? So you could go in touch with us and have a date that fits into your calendar, either virtually or on-site in one of our client centers, and then, you know, play around with the Cloudpack, discuss what you might need for your business, just explore all the details, and if you like what you see, you could even continue down the journey, maybe by even co-developing an MVP together with us. And the MVP that we can co-build with you is also free of charge. First come, first serve basis though. Yeah, so we will spend some developers, IBM developers, together with your team. You can then build a POC and MVP that really fits into your needs. You can also help you with upskilling or training around data, around all the other topics as you need, also free of charge. And one highlight also is that we have recurring roadmap sessions, new sessions for each of these tech areas, also done by the product managers. But we are now 4:15 o'clock. I would now hand over to Beate for the first pitch. Beate, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Sebastian. Oops, I need to find again where I need to share my screen here. Thank you, everyone. And let me just bring up a few slides here that I would like to present. Hoping I have the right one. Yeah. And Sebastian, if you could just let me know if you see the presentation mode for these slides.
All good,
okay.
You can ready to go.
All right, thank you. So the Shark Tank is open here, I guess. All right, so thank you everyone here for being here and wanting to hear more about IBM's Cloudpacks. It's very exciting stuff, and I have probably the most interesting one, I'm claiming here. So let me give you a little bit of an intro what IBM Cloudpack for Data is and what it helps you in your organization. As we heard here, these Cloudpacks are here and divided into typically use cases or areas how they are used. And so is Cloudpack for Data, as the name suggests, it's really to drive insights for your data. If we look at who we are today, everyone literally is a data company today. Data drives our decision. Data brings the insights on which we make the decision. So it's an essential fuel to how well we do within our companies. Now, interestingly, if we look across the companies of all natures, most are using less than 30% of the data that they actually generate. Less than 30%. And given the growth rate, this percentage is actually going down. That means we are leaving a significant portion of insight behind from which to make decisions. Now, why is that? One, if we observe data architectures or a landscape, one of the things that we see is that these landscapes are getting more and more complex. We have data being spread out globally. We have data on different cloud environments, which are typically very difficult to extract. The globalization also brings in data protection requirements that are specific to geographies or even in national, or our industry might be highly regulated, that where data exchange may be more complex than in other industries. So what we see still today is a very tool-oriented landscape. We see a lot of point-to-point connection amongst data sources, which in itself then create data silos, where I isolate entire environments from each other just due to the technology I'm using to access it. The data landscape with the approaches we have taken is very complex to manage. Point-to-point connections are very difficult to expand. If you introduce one other and you already have 10, you have to create now 10 new connections. And these disconnected data landscape also create environments where the data I'm actually using is more prone to quality issues. So this entire challenge really doesn't lead us to use more of the data we generate. If you think about all the devices we have today, this is vital information that we could use to make better decisions, to differentiate ourselves from the competition. Now, what's a better way to do? A new approach to data management is called a data fabric. And a data fabric really tries to build this kind of connected tissue amongst these data sources without necessarily creating all these point-to-point connections. So what we want to do is seamlessly integrate our different data sources to intelligently automate our data pipelines and to democratize the use of intercloud data for our line of business users. And last but not least, bring AI or more intelligence to the data anywhere. So not bringing the data to the AI, but bringing AI to the data. So we call this here really connecting the right data at the right time to the right people anywhere. So this is what a data fabric approach is. Now, how do we solve this in IBM? And the way how we solve this is with Cloudpack for Data. So Cloudpack for Data is IBM's data fabric that's really innovating data management and helping you to accelerate your journey to AI. Now, what does it do here? So how does it do it? So if you see this kind of landscape, you see this kind of middle point here, but the middle point is not meant as a hub where you now suddenly bring all the data to. It's really this kind of logical connected tissue amongst your different data sources and to drive your data pipeline. And when we think about a data pipeline, we think about these kind of ladders or steps, which is you often collect or connect data, you then start organizing it, you analyze it, and eventually you bring more AI to it. And for each of these elements, Cloudpack for Data brings services that you can easily connect without actually coding. So importance here is that we've created an environment to almost think about a plug-and-play environment. I sometimes compare this to the way how we transitioned into the smartphone age, right? If you think about our smartphones, we all have the apps and they seamlessly plug and play into how you use it, whether you take pictures or call your mom and so on. The same applies here to Cloudpack for Data. We have these services that you can wire together to drive your data pipeline, to collect your data, then to organize it, which means to discover and understand, govern, protect, all these different steps. And then from this governed data assets, you start on building and training, deploying and running your AI models. And last but not least, we give you pre-built AI apps, which you then can apply to these AI models to this kind of landscape, all on what we call a distributed platform with a single pane of management, monitoring, securing, and even user experience. All of this is what Cloudpack for Data is. Now, to come back to what was said initially about how we use this in our landscape, again, it's not about bringing data to the processing, to these kind
3
of
minutes.
bringing the processing to the data. So, you know, if your favorite cloud environment is AWS, you can bring the Fabric or Cloudpack for Data to AWS, or you can distribute it to various cloud environments and have as a federated environment across all of this. So wherever your data is, you can bring Cloudpack for Data or this innovative data fabric to your data and use it there and seamlessly connect it to it. All right, so why Cloudpack for Data for your data fabric design or your new way of doing data management? It's really designed for the distributed landscape that we see today. It is a seamlessly integrated solution for your highly distributed data. In a hybrid cloud environment. So it's not just about distributed in your distributed data center, but wherever your data is, wherever it resides. It's a modular, composable architecture. So you don't have to bring everything. You bring what you need. You know, if you need data integration, if you need something to analyze, you bring this. And if you say, well, now I need to care about data privacy, then you bring the data privacy pieces and seamlessly, and these elements seamlessly integrate with each other. It provides industry-leading automation. What makes us scale nowadays is the way how we automate. And really go from a lot of manual steps that we have to do if you use individual tools to connect these to a form where things are pre-built, ready to be automated and scale out. And last but not least, IBM and Cloudpack for Data in particular is considered a technology leader by many industry experts. So if we look at the Gartners or Forresters of the world and their analyzation of the different elements that Cloudpack for Data brings with it, IBM is really recognized as leader and thought leader in these different data and AI capabilities. So with that, I also want to point you to
30 seconds.
trial experience that we have with Cloudpack for Data. You find this on dataplatform.cloud.ibm.com. Give it a try and explore it for yourself. Thank you so much.
This was awesome. Thank you, Beate. Very good, very good. Even 11 seconds left.
Oh.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay, all right. Do we have any questions for Beate, Miriam?
I'm just checking. We're broadcasting as well on YouTube.
All right.
So no questions in YouTube. There's a lot of praise for your pitch, Beate. And I've posted the link to dataplatform.cloud.ibm
Okay, great.
in the chat.
I would have two questions, Miriam, while you're searching for the other platforms, if that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So Beate, the first one is really here about the services that you mentioned, like collect, organize, and analyze data. If there's a company right on the ladder in a different phase, I mean, do we have to really use the Cloudpack for data or our offering here for all the entire thing, or can we just sort of cherry pick what we need?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can cherry pick what you need. I did this kind of smartphone comparison. You cherry pick what apps you have on your smartphone or on your tablet, and the same applies here to Cloudpack for data. You select. You have different use cases even for your data, and you pick what is relevant to your use cases, whether you want to focus more on the analytics side and build and train models quickly, or if you care more about data governance or the collection of data, you pick those, and only those are being needed, and whether you deploy it, you would only deploy it there, or if you run on SaaS, you'd only exactly those kind of services. It's really a service platform. Think of it, or an app platform, if you want to use the term that we use in this kind of mobile device.
I see. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. And another one, maybe you talked about. You said AWS. You said AWS, right?
Yeah.
And let's say I have a data lake there, like Snowflake or something like that, and I can really integrate also from the other hyperscalers, right? I can really integrate the stuff from them.
Yeah, totally. So this is not just an IBM landscape. This is an open platform, and of course, we know, our clients, or you have data sources that are coming from all parts of the world, from different vendors. So you use it with the data, with the data landscape that you have, and if it's Snowflake and S3, or if it's BigQuery, or if it is DB2. You can use that. You can run it on those hyperscalers, or you run it in your own environment, whatever your needs are.
Understood. Awesome. Thank you so much. Miriam, do you see another question, or should we move on to Bill?
We have
one more question. Very good.
The question is, I'll read it out. Can you tell us some examples for data stores that run seamlessly with Cloudpack for data?
Can you speak a little up? It's very.
I think the question's been answered, but the question was just examples of data stores that run seamlessly with Cloudpack for data.
It would be probably too long to go through all of them. Whether it's Azure, or a lot of these still on-premise Oracle. Google Cloud environments, the list is pretty long. So it's you find them actually if you go to the Cloudpack for data documentation. They are listed there, but it's an open ecosystem. We have new data sources coming in all the time, so it's a very dynamic environment, and literally anything you need, you can connect to
it. Great.
Thank you, Beate. Very good. I think we are super on time, so thank you. And I hope Bill is there. Bill, and I have your deck with me, so I will start sharing from my screen your deck. And then I will start the timer. Hold on, let me share the deck. Alrighty, the stage is all yours.
Okay, great. My name is Bill Lawton. I'm just coming off another presentation like a minute ago, and so I'm switching gears here a little bit. But I'm here today to talk to you about business automation and the Cloudpack for business automation and what we do, right? Next chart, please. Okay, so the opportunity is huge within companies to really unlock their labor value. So what do we mean? We mean that companies all over the place have employees doing things that are probably not directly related to revenue, right? And so administrative tasks, right? Emails, right? spreadsheets, all kinds of things that could be automated to free those employees up to focus on, things that are directly related to revenue and driving more value for your company, right? And so really that's what we are talking about with this 134 billion worth of labor value. And so we feel that we have a very great solution with our business automation capabilities to be able to address this, leveraging our AI-powered automation. Okay, next chart. So, the interesting thing that we've seen over the past year with COVID, right, largely driven by COVID, is that we've seen a huge amount of digitization within the last year, right, driven by really the need for survival, right, of companies, right? And my neighbor told me a story about, she was in the healthcare, she runs a VP in a healthcare company, and they were very paper process oriented, right, for certain parts of what they do. And they completely fell apart during COVID in the early months because they couldn't have people go into the office. And so they had to struggle and really automate a bunch of things very quickly, right? And so that's what I mean by we've seen 10 years of digitization within 1 year. And so, but yet, even though that happened, right, there's still 80% of the companies still have much more opportunity to automate, right? Next chart. Okay, and so automation, really process automation, is about reducing the amount of human intervention needed to run a business, right? That's a very simple way to think about this, right? Okay, so go on to the next chart. There's all kinds of places, basically the opportunities everywhere within your business, right? Whether it's on the business operational side, which is where I focus, right, with the business automation, or whether it's on the IT operational side, or whether it's, integration, or, all parts of your business, there's opportunity everywhere, right? Next chart. So one use case I want to talk a little bit about is a good example. CDG manages pensions, and so they implemented a new system to really reduce their time to value, right? Really reduce their process time, right? And so they deal with pensions, and so they reduce their pension certificate processing from days to minutes, right? And they also reduce their enrollment verification program from 5 days to an hour, right? And so this is just one example of how you can apply this kind of technology. And I'll talk about the different capabilities that we have and what what those things actually are. But the three capabilities that they used were our document processing capability, okay, which is all about taking a document and extracting the data out of the document so that you can actually use that data to drive a decision or a workflow. They also use decisioning capability, right, in their solution here, as well as our workflow technology to guide the overall processes that drove their particular solution. Okay. Go on to the next chart, please. Okay, so what are some of the capabilities within business automation? So here are some of the accelerators that we have. The first one is process mining, well, and modeling. But process mining, we have a capability that basically what it does is you use it to understand how your existing systems are actually working. So what it does is you feed it logs from your existing system, and then what it does is it maps out what the process is and what all the intersections are of those systems. And by doing that, it actually, if you feed it the kind of KPIs that you're interested, right? You want, this process or this linkage to be, something done in minutes versus, or 5 minutes, let's say. Right? What it'll do is it will determine where the bottlenecks are, and it will actually make recommendations based on what it sees. So it's actually pretty cool, because what it does is it automates the whole process of discovery, right? Meaning you no longer have to map the as is, of your process and do that manually, right? And then sort of, manually document the process of where you want to go based on what you know. Right now, this automates all of that, right? And it spits out a process at the end of the day, right? And so it's pretty cool. It's not a capability in itself, it's an accelerator because it helps you in automating things. It doesn't actually automate the process itself, right? Okay, RPA is many people are very familiar with bots and robotic process automation. It sort of is a technology that started as what we call screen scraping technology. It allows you to interact with a user interface for an application that maybe doesn't have an API, right? And the only way you can interact with that application is through the user interface. Well, if you want to automate interaction with that application, you have to, do the screen scraping approach, right? You have to use a bot. And so that's what this technology is all about. It's about automating those human interactions with a UI and basically just completely automating that, right? So,
3 minutes.
3 minutes, all right. The operational intelligence is all about visibility into how your capabilities work. All right, next chart. So some of the other capabilities I've mentioned already, document processing, right? It's all about taking that document, extracting the data. Content management, we have a very rich market-leading content capability, right? And it's all about managing content and providing governance and compliance around documents and documents of any type, right? Whether it's, media or documents, very rich set of capabilities. We have a business rule system, decisioning, where we can centrally manage and provide non-technical subject matter experts, the ownership of those rules, right? They can actually own those rules and so on and so forth. Then you can use those rules anywhere. Workflow, it's all about orchestrating tasks, right? Whether it's system-to-system orchestration or whether it's human-oriented orchestration or a mix of both, right? We have a very rich market-leading capability there. Next chart. Okay, so where are we focused? We are focused on, really adding digital labor into the mix here, right? So we feel that our point of view is that human labor augmented with digital labor is much more powerful, right? Our goal is not to replace human labor because you never will replace human labor, right? You're never going to replace your experts that understand how the business works. But what you can do is make them more efficient by providing, AI-driven, what we call digital labor. And that digital labor will focus on things like administrative tasks, sending email, scheduling meetings, right? Building quotes, right? And so we're actually working on what we're calling a digital employee, if you will, right? And some technology called Watson Orchestrate, which we're very excited about. Go on to the next chart, please. Actually, go two charts. Yep. Watson Orchestrate is a very cool technology that we encourage you to go look at. I'm not going to be able to describe it in this 10-minute segment, but
30 seconds.
Go look at the demo and you'll be able to see for yourself. This is about providing an interactive AI for professionals, right? It's very, very cool. And this is where we think the future of automation is going. Last chart, please. Okay, so all of these capabilities are available in the Cloudpack for Business Automation, okay? It's one thing you can buy, and it includes all these different capabilities. You can pick and choose to use only what you want, right? But you do have access to everything. Last chart. And this is really the link that you can, and I think we're going to put the link in the chat here, and you can, I encourage you to go there. You can find out, anything you want about the product.
All right, thank you so much, Bill. This was really good. Let me stop sharing, and I can see you again. Hi, awesome, very good pitch. Miriam, do we have any questions for Bill?
Not yet,
Yeah,
we don't.
I would have one question, you know, because I my past is in the RPA space, yeah, and sort of is there an own way to sort of play around myself, you know, just without contacting you or us right here? Can I just access it somewhere and play around a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. IBM is a company that's moving to become more digital. So we actually do offer a trial for all of our capabilities, including RPA.
Mm-hmm.
And so definitely go to the last link that was shared in the chat. And you can directly get to the trial. You can sign up, and within minutes, you can get direct access, and you can start to play around with our guided trial. And there's also an RPA trial as well. And some of the other, we do have an overall trial, and then we have an individual set of trials. So definitely check it out.
Great, thank you. That's really good. Then I think we are good with Bill, and can let you go if there is no other question. Yeah. And then Miriam, do you think could we bring up the poll with regarding the favors right now, or should we wait because we have like 3 minutes before we start the next pitch? Don't want to sort of überfahren dich now, but maybe we can. Yeah, is it possible?
So which poll are you talking about?
The poll to understand where are the interests with regards to the technology areas.
Yes, so we've got the poll, which topic interests you most, that's visible, and we've also got one asking what sort of role you're in, so whether you're in a developer role or other IT roles. So you can see the polls underneath the live stream. There should be an orange button showing the polls that are live now.
Great, thank you. I just did my vote as well. Okay, very good. Awesome. Okay, Bill, thank you so much. 2 minutes until the next one. Let me look into my agenda here. Morgan, when you are there, everybody, now it's about AI ops. Yeah, after learning about data from Beate and business automation from Bill, now we have AI ops. Pretty new topic, pretty fancy, I would think, sort of like 1 year ago, RPA was sort of the new kid on the block, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, rather, right? But AI ops is rather the new thing, at least in my brain at the moment. So Morgan, I'm really excited to have you here and to learn more about AI ops. When you're there, I will quickly go to my clock, to my watch here.
Morgan, I can unmute you if that's helpful.
Sure, and I'll come up on camera here as well.
Very good. Now we can see you. Awesome. Hi, Morgan. All right. Yeah, if you're ready, I'm going to start your watch then the clock now.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sebastian, and really appreciated the pitch there from Bill. I'm going to pop my charts up on screen. Always the most exciting part of a presentation, seeing if the charts come up. All right, well, Sebastian, thank you so much for the kind introduction. Just to kick us off here, my name is Morgan Timpson. I'm a member of the product management team for Cloudpack for Watson AIOps. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time today talking about our entire AIOps portfolio for IBM. Really excited to get some of the questions and feedback in the comments and to handle some of those questions live here. Let's dig in. So when we work with organizations today around AIOps, we spend a lot of time kind of defining AIOps. Sebastian, as you said, it's kind of a new hot term, and that's really exciting, but it also means that the kind of the meaning of it to a lot of folks can vary. When we talk to organizations today about AIOps, the common themes we hear about from them are a lack of visibility, a lack of ability to control or manage rising costs, and challenges around expertise. They've got limited staff and they're chasing more and more problems. So to kind of double click on each one of these, regarding a lack of visibility, a lot of organizations are making the effort and the investments necessary to embrace some of the latest technologies, embrace multi-cloud, embrace Kubernetes, embrace some of the latest platforms and tools. The challenge we see is often that there's a lack of ability to integrate those new technologies with some of their older ones, or they've invested in these new technologies, but they don't have the tools yet to get full visibility into those technologies. They might understand what's happening on their servers very well, but they don't understand what's happening inside of a container, for example. We also see organizations really struggling with rising costs. A lot of organizations are basically taking the approach that instead of managing performance intelligently and carefully, they're essentially over provisioning to get ahead of any potential performance impact or outages. And that's an approach that can work, but there are more intelligent ways to handle the problem here. And then last but not least, limited staffing and kind of challenges on that institutional knowledge. We've seen this become a particularly acute issue in the last year and a half or so with the Great Resignation. A lot of organizations are seeing turnover, a lot of folks are retiring early, and that has created huge challenges for organization where they didn't realize that a lot of knowledge about how their applications and systems perform is trapped inside the heads of a handful of really talented experts. And that creates new challenges. The organizations are now looking to new tools, new techniques, new approaches to help kind of get ahead of those issues and to help better democratize some of the institutional knowledge trapped within the heads of SMEs. The other kind of point I'd make here is over the last year and a half, we've seen tremendous growth in digitization and the tools that people use. My aunt, for example, she's about 81. Last year was the first time that she ever actually paid her bills online. Every year prior, she'd just been mailing in checks. And that's an example, right, of a lot of new users, a lot of new personas that previously companies never interacted with digitally are now demanding IT resources, demanding digital resources. That creates new pressure on teams. No team is able to quite scale to the exponential growth that we've seen. So in terms of how we at IBM kind of think about some of these challenges, help our customers approach these challenges, we recommend kind of a two-step approach. So recognizing one, that a lot of organizations today have some good tools to manage a lot of basic monitoring, basic performance management. And that is kind of meeting, let's say, the meets and needs. What comes next is using some of the latest tools and technologies to get that granular visibility necessary to really understand and be confident in your application performance or in the robustness of the customer experiences you're providing, as well as being able to effectively manage resources. So instead of over provisioning as essentially an insurance policy, you're intelligently managing resources and providing what's necessary to deliver the appropriate level of performance. And then finally, as you kind of build that confidence around observability and resource management, you're able to kind of go the next step by embracing automation, by embracing greater intelligence and efficiency to more proactively handle IT incidents, to kind of put your applications on autopilot, both from an incident management perspective and from a cost management perspective, and really embrace some of the promise that AI brings. In order to fulfill that promise, IBM has brought forward a new portfolio of technologies that are really pointed at some of these problems. So over the past year, IBM acquired an APM company, an application performance monitoring company called Instanta, bringing really rich and valuable cloud and multi-cloud APM for organizations today. Gotten some great feedback and recognition from Gartner. Turbonomic, we've also acquired earlier this year, bringing really rich resource management and optimization to customers today. And then finally, we're bringing forward IBM Cloudpack for Watson AIOps that's really helping customers better manage their infrastructure and automate their infrastructure, as well as better manage and get ahead of IT incidents. So having the right information at the right time to make sure you're able to quickly deal with customer-facing outages. So to double click a little bit, I talked about Instanta, really rich observability data. There is a strong synergy between these three different products where we're taking that observability data from Instanta to make smarter resource management and kind of triage and optimization decisions within Turbonomic, and then using the shared knowledge and data there to help drive better and faster problem determination, remediation, and avoidance on kind of that incident management side with Cloudpack for Watson AI Ops. And just to talk a little bit about some of the impact that we're seeing with organizations today, thanks to these technologies, we're seeing significant reductions in MTTR, or mean time to resolve.
That basically means left. 3 minutes.
Thank you, Sebastian. In plain English, MTTR means if you see a customer-facing application goes down, let's say you can't log into your banking app, we're seeing that window tighten down from, let's say, an hour to 45 minutes on average for a lot of our customers. And the way we're doing that is by reducing the number of false positives that IT teams have to chase down and reducing the number of incidents that they have to investigate. On IT savings, we're driving a 30% to 50% reduction in spend there. And that's using some of Turbonomic's fantastic capabilities around optimization and performance. And then finally, on new services, we're able to help kind of shift IT resources away from some of the more reactive work of debugging, of chasing down different fire drills, and help our organizations that we're working with shift from that kind of reactive work to more proactive work around improving and investing in new services. When we talk to SRE users and some of our more sophisticated clients today, they think a lot about toil and toil reduction, reducing those kinds of tasks that are kind of not adding value to the business, not driving revenue, not driving better client experience, not driving better customer experience. And this is something we're really excited to bring forward with Instanta and Cloudpack for Watson AI Ops. So I think I'm within my time here. Really excited about some of the questions we're hopefully going to get today. And Sebastian, want to kind of turn it back to you. I'll turn off the share.
Thank you, Morgan. Very good. A minute or so left. Yeah, very, very good. Miriam, do you have any questions received from Morgan?
Yes, we have one question. I'll try and speak up. Thanks for the feedback, Johnny. Can you give us an example of how AI benefits your everyday users?
Sure, great question. So when I think of our everyday users, we're often talking about application developers, site reliability engineers, IT operations engineers, team members or engineers in a network operations center, for example. These folks are typically responsible for chasing down fire drills, where some service, some application, some customer experience has gone down in the middle of the night. Everybody's panicking, nobody knows why, and we're really excited because our technology helps our clients more quickly locate some of those issues and failures, and helps them more quickly remediate. So if you're getting that 2 a.m. fire drill, hopefully you're back in bed by 2:10. And we're really excited about, there's obviously a lot of kind of business benefit to that, but it's also benefiting real people, and that kind of brings a smile.
What I really find also interesting is that AI is moving. I mean, since the recent years, AI is really moving away from the lab into a daily business, right? Into really day-to-day stuff, and that's really good. We see it pretty much everywhere, and AI ops is just one example, right? I mean, everything that, by the way, the audience, everything that you heard here today, or that you're going to hear here today, is really AI infused. I mean, all the technology, all the Cloudpacks that you see here today is all AI infused. Yeah, just to mention that once. Thank you, Morgan. Very good.
We have one more.
Yeah,
question.
very good. Okay, all right.
Is there a minimum size of companies you would consider AI ops useful for?
Great question, Johnny. I think I would say no. I think kind of holistically, Instanta and Turbonomic, we've seen a lot of uptake and interest from startups and kind of mid-sized companies. If you've got customer experiences you really want to see be kind of high performing or highly reliable, there's a lot of benefit to embracing those technologies. I think that Cloudpack for Watson AI Ops tends to be a bit more enterprising, but Instanta and Turbonomic have built great solutions. And actually, I can drop the link in the chat. Instanta has a great demo that you can try out today. Great way to test out the technology. And I think you'll quickly see, it's relevant to any size company.
All right, thank you. That sounds good. All right, if there is no other question, let me make a quick sound check. Johnny, I hope that's okay. I don't want to, run into your ear, so sort of. I'm trying to speak a little bit lower, and I also lowered the mic. I hope that's okay. Otherwise, let me know. I can try to find out how to configure it here somewhere. All right, no worries. Cool, thank you, Morgan. I think we can slowly let you go. And Andrew was almost there. I saw him. There he is.
I am here. I just want to just change something.
Take your time. We are 4 minutes early. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, I had the wrong camera coming up, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, shall I just get started? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I will reset the traffic light, reset the clock, and then we start a little bit early. I hope that's good for everyone. So, Andrew, please feel free to start now.
Okay, I'm just looking for, how do I share the screen? Okay, here we go. Just waiting for that. Okay. Can you see my presentation on the screen?
It's in edit mode. Now it's the other screen. Now it's the sort of preview. Now it's full screen. Awesome. I'm going to start the clock now.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present here. So my name is Andrew Humphreys. I lead the product management team for the Cloudpack for integration. And I'm going to give a 10-minute overview of what the Cloudpack for integration is, but starting with looking at what are the general problems that we see in the market, just generally, and how is the Cloudpack for integration looking to address those. Now, I'll start with some general market trends. These aren't particularly related to integration, but they underpin a lot of the things that we're trying to do with the Cloudpack for integration. And there is a general trend, I think, across IT. I'm sure all the other teams have kind of mentioned this, around a desire to accelerate innovation. And really that's about how do we empower teams, how do we to actually kind of do things for themselves, and how do we decentralize ownership of things and adopt more agile methods in order to encourage more innovation in everything we do. And that's particularly relevant to integration, because integration is traditionally somewhat the opposite of that. It's traditionally being something which has been a centralized integration team that owned everything to do with integration, and has had a high dependency on skills and development techniques which are focused just on how do I deliver on those integration, as opposed to what we're trying to get to, more modern world, where everything is kind of done by project teams. Project teams do own responsibility for their own integration and so forth. And we've seen that kind of with applications, so forth, where teams have looked to adopt more agile methods, adopt to kind of work with things more generally, and move forward with things like containerization as technologies and so on. As we've kind of living in this world, though, where people are adopting these strategies, we've seen that there's a growing amount of complexity of the world that people want to work with. So we've seen a huge rise in the amount of different systems that companies want to integrate with. And that's also reflected by a couple of other macro trends that we've seen. So things like cloud adoption has led to more and more companies having more and more applications they need to integrate with. If they're doing digital transformation, they need to think about how do they connect with and speak to clients, so outside of their own data center and so forth. And that means that the sort of domain of integration has become hugely more complicated than it ever was in the past. And that's added a great deal of more complexity to the integration landscape that we need to work with. And then I think that the third trend that we see increasingly is that it's much harder to acquire and retain skills than it ever has been before. Like I think a phrase I would use, like the next pandemic, is actually around staff. It's increasingly difficult to retain staff and to get people with the right skills. And again, that has an impact on traditional integration, because traditional integration is actually a very highly skilled area. It requires deep specialist skills in multiple integration products to be successful. And if we look at the world today, companies are struggling to find people with those skills. So it drives a need to reduce the skill needed to build and run and maintain integrations. And the reason why I focus here on integration is that all of these things are general trends that we see in the industry, but they're not the really called out as specifically integration. But underpinning pretty much anything that you do is a need for integration. And I have this statistic that comes from a Gartner report that if you actually look at digital transformation projects and where they fail, they generally fail due to poor integration, poor ability to connect to back-end systems, poor ability to get data in the right format at the right time, or poor ability to deliver an agile integration architecture, which is needed to deliver on the key points or the key requirements for that digital transformation project. So if we look at calpat for integration, what is it actually really focused on trying to achieve? And really what we're trying to do is reduce the challenges that we see in the modern world around delivering integration. And we can really break those down to these three key areas. So the first one is it alludes to that skills point that I was raising, that there's a huge amount generally or historically of manual effort required to build in any integration, which requires deep expert integration skills. If you think about like people who traditionally worked in integration, they tend to have very deep specialist skills in integration technologies, and integration products were traditionally built for that kind of user. They were very focused on how can we provide the right tooling to meet somebody who's an expert and help them work faster. But actually, we think the modern world actually it needs people with a lower skill set. We need an easier entry ability to use integration software. And the way we're trying to achieve that is through automation. And by automation, we're talking about how can we look at the process required to actually build integrations and use things like AI and built-in best practices and have the tooling guide you to ensure that we built first-class reusable integrations at a lower skills cost than we ever had before. Second key problem we're trying to solve with the Cloudpack for integration is there's a lack of like operational visibility. There's a lack of feedback of what's going on within your integration layer. So we have this concept within the Cloudpack for integration of closed loop integration life cycles. So managing integrations across their life cycle and then using things like AI and operational data to make suggestions to things. So being able to like kind of scale up and down automatically and configure HA automatically and so forth to reduce the cost of operation and give you more insight what is happening. And then the final piece that we see is that traditional integration software, it doesn't map neatly to the integration problems that customers actually have today. Like most integration challenges people have will typically involve needing to use what had in the past have been multiple integration problems. So I'd start with like the concept of an API. If I want to work with an API, in the past, I would traditionally had to do things like use application integration software to build an API that exposed any backend system that I was interested in. And then I might have an API management component, which did things like let me register that API, let people define who's going to use that API, define access policies for that, and then track and advertise it. And then I might have like something like a gateway, an API gateway, which enforces those policies on that API. So I've got 3 different integration products involved in just the task of I want to build an API. So we're trying to, within the Cloudpack integration, rethink that process. So to be driven by the use cases people are actually trying to achieve and focus on how do we deliver those to people as a multi-style integration. And that concept is really like, if we think about critical integration capabilities that customers need today, we can think of them in terms of like I just described, API integration, but we also see a range of demand around things like event integration, all managed in a same singular environment. And also on top of that, we need things like the ability to do traditional integration. So message order middleware, EAI, ESB, always in the same toolkit. And that's what Cloudpack for integration really provides, is all of the integration capabilities you need, very focused on key integration use cases, and providing the tooling to enable that to work really smoothly and easily. So some of the key things we've delivered in Cloudpack for integration recently are things like natural language to describe integrations. I've described this as like being Ask Alexa. Ask Alexa to build me an integration. CP4I can, just based on what you described, generate integration for you without having to do any programming whatsoever. We also have things like much neater and easier to use award-winning tooling, very focused on solving the problem of how do you build integrations as quickly and easily as possible without having a huge amount of skill. And I put Designer as an example of that. And we're also using within CP4I an ability to leverage AI as much as possible. So we have coming soon a capability which we called API test generation. This fits in with my kind of closed loop example earlier, where what we do is not just focus on how to build an API, but also generate the test for you. And then once you've got the API, look at what's actually happening to that API in production to understand its usage, and then compare that to your existing test coverage to see if there's additional things that you can deliver which are missing, additional test cases you are missing, just by analyzing what's going on, and we're delivering a feature from that coming in Q4. And that's part of a general trend with the Cloudpack for integration about how can we reduce the need for human interaction to do any task within the integration and automate it as much as possible, so the human can just concentrate on delivering the business value part of that. And that encompasses pretty much every technology you can think of in terms of different transport protocols that you should need. And the reason I make this point is we have a whole world and a whole market out there which is very focused on API management and how we do the life cycle for an API. The Cloudpack for integration recognizes this and actually has API management built into it. But also this could apply that to any other integration technology you want to use. They also have a life cycle. So one of the other key innovations and the key market differentiators of Cloudpack for integration compared to our integration competitors is that we actually provide endpoint lifecycle management for everything. So we provide event
30 seconds,
API management, and so forth. So that's all I wanted to cover on Cloudpack for integration. I include in here like a list of demos. If you go and Google these things, of key things you can do with Cloudpack for integration and the key innovation that we have there. And with that, I will hand back to Sebastian.
Very, very good, Andrew. Thank you so much. This was really insightful. You know, I didn't even know that the integration piece that we have is really capable to do all these things. You know, because my team is also doing developer advocacy. This is super interesting, also for our daily business. So good to know. Good to have you here today. Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any questions for Andrew, Miriam?
Yes, we do. And I'll read out one of the questions we have for Andy is, do you see Cloudpack for integration used commonly with other Cloudpacks?
Yes, absolutely. What you've got to think about with integration is it pretty much is a critical layer in any IT architecture. Therefore, anything else that you're wanting to do is going to have to go through integration. So we see a lot of co-sell with things like Cloudpack for business automation, which is focused on the process layer of how do I automate the business processes. But then part of that process is going to need integration. So I need to connect together. And that's another real value point of the Cloudpacks in general, is because they're all built on the same, basically, OpenShift platform and contain the same bedrock layer. These things actually work really tightly and well together. So, having them both from IBM gives you like an advantage in terms of operations and ease of building things. And we see that across the other packs as well, like with security and AI ops. They're very focused on things like, well, you've seen the sessions on how they work. But integration obviously has a role to play with all of them. So yes, we see a lot of co-sell and cross-usage of the Cloudpacks with integration always being like the one of those components.
Interesting. And what's actually the biggest use case why customers would adopt Cloudpack for integration?
So I think that's an interesting question, and it kind of one of the things about the integration market is IBM has always been like hugely successful within it, and we've always had like kind of the #1 share for all of the different integration components that you can think of in terms of market share. So that means that we have like a huge existing customer base. And as a result, Cloudpack for integration sees a lot of projects around people modernizing that integration architecture. So it's like people who have the traditional products and they want to take advantage of containerization or just the advantages of running these kind of things as a collective whole in CP4I. So that drives a lot of interest in CP4I. But then in terms of new workloads, so instead of people just moving stuff from where they've deployed it on VMs in the past to Cloudpack, we see a lot of interest in things like the key things which I see what I described in the chart earlier. It's either API-led integration, which is about exposing the business as REST APIs and then using those APIs to orchestrate to build anything you want to do today. And heavily related to that, event-driven integration, which is basically the same concept. I want data to be kind of published out of any application that I have because I have other uses for that data. And those two use cases drive pretty much all integration demand that we're seeing in the world today in terms of new workload. And Cloudpack for integration is really unique in that we provide both of those capabilities in the box. If you look at competitors in this space, they don't. They're all either one or other of those patterns, and they all argue that you don't need the other. But the reality is you do need both to be successful in any kind of digital transformation initiative, and that's where we see a lot of demand and interest.
Understood. Thank you. Very interesting. Thanks. Miriam, do you have any other questions? I'm good on my end here. All right, then, Andrew, thank you so much. Very good. I think we can let you go then. And
thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. We are sort of 4 minutes early. Let's start buying some time, speaking a bit slower. All righty. Aidan, you're there. That's very good. The next topic, folks, is network automation, So maybe to quickly recap, we had, remember we had Beate talking about data fabric, right? First, explaining us how we perceive so data as the new gold. How can you really leverage data that you have on site? And we learned that sort of 70% of data is not used that you have available, right? AI, no, sorry, it was built first with business automation, right? So the business automation piece, sort of very interesting to me, especially because I came from the automation from the RPA world, and I learned a lot of here also that not only bots are automating, but also you can do a lot more that we haven't seen before yet. AI Ops, Morgan told us more about the things about the different aspects, right, of the IT organizations automating certain things and how users are perceiving AI within their daily operations to really improve their work and save time and reduce costs in the processes. Integration was the next one, where Andrew explained us just now more how to really, connect all the dots and bring all these things together, even from different vendors into one single platform, sort of using our Cloudpack for integration here. And network automation, also a very exciting topic. I have not that much heard about it myself, not read about it yet myself yet. So I'm really excited to learn now firsthand from Aidan about this topic. And Aidan, I will start the clock very slowly, and then your 10 minutes will be running right now when you're ready. Are you ready?
We just got a message from Aidan that he can't hear us. So I'm just trying to.
That's good.
All
right, sounds good. If I only knew an English joke, I'd have to really write down an English joke. I only knew German jokes. Let me see. All right, okay. If we get it sorted right now, then let's say I will shut up for 30 seconds. Otherwise, I'm gonna sing a song. So we'll see.
We did have some network issues in the test, so I think it might just take a couple of seconds.
Maybe while you are trying to get it sorted, dear audience, you know that we are not only streaming here on Crowdcast, we are also on Twitter live and on YouTube live. So really excited to have all of you here from different platforms. Again, integration at its best. We just learned about integration, so good to have everything connected. And I really hope that Aidan can make it possible to explain more the network automation piece. The Cloudpacks, by the way, as mentioned earlier, right, it's just sort of how we bundle the technology, APIs, products, tools that we have there into sort of one area. And maybe also to repeat, the presentations that you see today is really sort of, I would say, just the highlights from the product managers who are bringing their babies forward and who are now pitching their babies to us basically here. And there is much more, right? I mean, the technology bundles, these Cloudpacks, are really very comprehensive. It's a huge feature set, a huge value to partners and customers likewise. And I have some tone now, I think. Aidan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I had to come back out and go back in again. Yeah, so I just had to log back in again. So I'll just share my screen now. So apologies for that, guys.
No, that's good. That's good. That's why we have the buffer planned. So awesome. I'm going to start.
We're perfectly on schedule.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to start the time now. Yeah, is it good, Aidan? I can start now?
I'm going to share my screen. 1 sec.
All right.
Are we all good? Can you see that?
Not yet. It's coming up. Yeah, we can see it now.
Good. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for inviting me, Sebastian, to talk today. So, guys, today I'd like to talk to you about IBM Cloudpack for Network Automation, referred to as CP4NA. Okay, so I'd like to cover what it does and also what customer need it addresses today. So I'd like to start by grounding this discussion in 5G, because that's where CP4NA delivers real value. And because of the growing relevance of 5G in the telco industry and the profound effect it's having 5G on Industry 4.0 and enterprises around the world. Okay, so it's fair to say the world is at a bit of a watershed when it comes to 5G for the following reasons. The first thing is that important point is that 5G is not just for telcos. Extends into enterprise and Industry 4.0 with the digitalization of these traditional physical industries using modern smart technologies. So 5G will drive significant value across all these sectors. The second thing is 5G is completely cloud native. It's fully software defined, built with microservices running in containers on a secure hybrid cloud. And this makes it a perfect candidate for hyper automation. The third thing, because of the scale of 5G, it basically requires a new and innovative ways of automation, requiring the need for hyper and brutal automation because of the scale. So we need to adopt more nimble zero-touch approaches to automation to significantly reduce the cost of rolling out 5G networks. And CP4NA provides the tool set for this hyper automation. And finally, 5G also redefines where compute gets done. So the workload can actually be done in low latency at the edge with very low latency. Okay, so the next slide I'd just like to talk about what is this 5G hype all about. So what you're looking at here is the Gartner hype cycle, basically which describes what the future of telco infrastructure is going to look like. And in there you can see it contains things like 5G, edge, AI, network slicing, O-RAN, practice LTE, private LTE. And the next slide shows what that's going to mean in terms of operational processes within telcos. So it's fair to say it's going to require a completely different set of tooling, a completely different operating model, and a completely different mindset as we build and operate these 5G networks. So from the second Gartner slide, you can see there that it will contain things like AI-driven intelligent automation, network slicing, open APIs, DevOps, and CI/CD, as well as AI-driven learning, giving predictive insights. So telcos can resolve network issues in the fastest possible time frame. So the last point is important to emphasize here as well is that this is not just hype. This is actually reality in many countries today as 5G gets rolled out. And the second important point is that although these Gartner hype cycles focus on telcos, the same infrastructure and operational transformations are happening in telcos are also happening in Industry 4.0 and enterprises as well. Okay. So this migration to 5G doesn't come without its challenges. So in this new 5G reality, because of its scale, it's no longer about throwing people at the problem. So these 5G networks are large geographically dispersed clusters with a distributed 5G core, basically, and just coupled with the distributed workloads at the edge require a very different approach to deploying and managing these networks. And it's fair to say that most telcos have yet to achieve these efficiencies with 4G. And with the hyperscaling now required for 5G, it's going to put additional pressure on telcos to achieve this brutal automation, to achieve the reductions in total cost of ownership and OpEx. The second thing is that 5G also requires an SRE approach, which is a design for no ops. And these cloud native clusters and are Kubernetes based, and this blurs the eyes between IT and network. So and enables the ability to apply DevOps across the board. And this further results in reductions in costs. And finally, IBM is proposing here a product-based approach to this problem. So in CP4NA, within CP4NA, we got use cases baked in, and they're providing all the necessary tooling for hyper automation for building and managing these IT networks. So customers get the benefit in the shortest possible time frame. Okay. So what does this 5G transformation look like? So basically the traditional operational process that we're familiar with will either get eliminated or significantly transformed. So in this new paradigm, traditional operation processes like config management, change management, these will get replaced because these are not really suitable for running highly distributed 5G networks. And these will be replaced with things like cloud catalogs, DevOps, CI/CD, therefore enabling the elastic scaling that 5G requires. Coupled with an intent-driven declarative approach as opposed to traditional workflow approach. And it's fair to say CP4NA provides all the necessary tooling to achieve this. So what is the promise and premise delivered by IBM CP4NA? The first thing is radical cost reduction. The second thing is agile operations. And the third thing is an increased and improved customer experience. So it includes a catalog cloud experience, automated design and planning through our site planner tool. This will minimize any possibilities of human error, where all the server and switch settings get deployed automatically and minimizing any impact of human error. On the build and run phase, where we want to instantiate, run, scale, and heal network service, that all gets done in a zero-touch automated fashion. Okay, and finally, it provides closed-loop operations for day 2 closed-loop operations, where integration with other cloud packs like Watson AIOps provides the predictive analytics and machine-based learning for so we can respond to network issues in a zero-touch manner. So to summarize, CP4NA with its intent-driven engine brings together automated orchestration, automated service design and testing, and dynamic service assurance. Okay, these are all the necessary toolings to build and manage these large-scale 5G networks. And the other important point to remember as well is that it's all developed, like all cloud packs, it's all running on IBM's OpenShift, okay? The next thing is it also has an extensive partner ecosystem surrounding this, okay? So
3 minutes.
Okay, so network servers are in the form of XNFs, are certified on the OpenShift product framework, and this vast catalog of services is available to operators to reduce the time and cost of rolling out network services. Okay. And this is some of the ecosystem partners that we're working with, and you can see that they span across all IT services, network services, edge, and security. So we can leverage this ecosystem to reduce the time and cost of deploying 5G networks. You can see we're doing works with NEPs like Mavenir, Metaswitch, Nokia. We're also doing transfer slicing with Cisco. And we recently demoed an integration with the Palo Alto security services at the Mobile World Congress in LA. Okay, so the types of use cases we're looking at here, there's 3 different categories of use cases. The first is your traditional 4G deployments, but this is replaced more and more often now by a much bigger opportunity on the 5G side and the edge automation. The second category then is the Open RAN, where again, scale is required. And we've got examples of that in India, for example, where we have thousands of clusters deploying across hundreds of thousands of sites. And this requires hyper brutal automation in CP4NA to achieve that. And the final category is 5G slicing, where operators now are able to offer slices of their 5G networks to enterprises. So I'll finish with just a couple of wins that we've achieved recently in the context of CP4NA. The first one is in Dish in the US. For people who don't know, Dish is a disruptor in the telco space in the US, and it's offering an enterprise self-service portal where enterprises can buy slices of the 5G Dish network. Okay, it's delivered on the 5G network is built on AWS, but IBM is providing CP4NA to do all the network slicing and associated automation. And the second example there is Telefonica, where IBM is using CP4NA to deliver the 5G core. This cloud garden that Telefonica is building offers subscriber-based services in the form of broadband and other subscribers like that. And then in terms of businesses, they offer things like blockchain. So if companies don't want to invest in their own 5G network, they can subscribe to the Telefonica network and avail of those in that way. Okay, so that's pretty much, I know it's a bit quick run through CP4NA. There's quite a lot to cover in 10 minutes, but I hope it's given you an initial insight into what the product does. And feel free, if you've got any questions for me at all, feel free to ask, and I hope I can answer the questions you may have.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Aidan. Very good. I didn't even call out the 30 seconds because you seem to finish on time. Eight seconds left. Perfect landing. Very good. I got a first question. You said intent-based engine. What's that actually?
Yeah, that's really important, and it's a really important aspect of CP4NA. I mean, the best analogy I could make is a GPS system where, if you want to get from A to B using a GPS system, you don't have to tell it what to do. You just input where you want to go, and it figures it out for itself. And likewise within CP4NA, if you want to, say, heal or scale a particular network service, you tell it what you want it to do, and it'll figure out how to do that for itself. So that's one of the powers of CP4NA, and that it has that power to that intent-based engine, which delivers those outcomes for you.
Sort of like a self-healing mode or something like that.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah. You don't have to you basically don't have to write all the procedure. You don't have to understand how it gets there. It figures that out through the logic that's been built under the bonnet. But you just tell it what you want it to do, and then it works the rest out for itself.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Miriam, do you have questions in the chats? One of the chats?
We don't have any questions. There's a lot of fans on YouTube who are celebrating the pitches today. So big shout out to Marcus, Shadan and Baksha, Samuel too. No questions just yet. They are a couple of seconds behind us. So maybe just a couple more seconds in case they're typing a question. If not, really enjoyed the pitch. Thanks.
Sounds good. This sounds really all good. Okay. Yeah, Aidan, I think we can let you go, right? Yeah. Miriam,
thank you very much, guys, and thanks for the opportunity to talk today.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Okie dokie. So we are coming to our last pitch for today. So we are getting James on stage in a little bit. The topic is security. Yeah. So we close with security, really maybe underlying everything that we saw with a nice little package. And so security is super key, as we know. And by the way, after the last pitch, we're gonna have Gerard again, as he introduced in the beginning, to sort of explain more, how we can really get these things that you just learned today, deployed quickly. How can you orchestrate the things that might be in this or that Cloudpack or technology space, right? So how can you deploy and develop using what we learned today quickly? This is what Gerard is going to tell us after James' pitch on security. And then I'm gonna wrap it up with some options that you might have to get in touch with us to discuss this and that aspect, or as said, book a discovery workshop free of charge, do an MVP with us free of charge, first come, first serve base, do enablement training with us free of charge, or so sort of have this join the recurring what's new sessions with the product managers you saw today or their colleagues, right? So we're gonna have these once a quarter. This is also going to something I'm going to explain to you after we have had James and Gerard. So stay tuned. Okay, James, are you there? Can't hear you at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, looks good. Hear you good. Awesome. Okay. Cool. Very good. Then I'm going to start your clock. I reset the traffic light. I'm starting your clock now.
Okay, good. So hopefully you can see my presentation in front of you.
It's edit mode, not playback yet.
Okay. Can you see that now?
Not coming up for me. Still the edit mode.
Okay, let me just try it one more time. It worked
sure.
A minute ago, so I will try it again. Share.
It's full screen. Thank you. I'm starting the clock again now.
Oh, good. I get extra time. That's what I was angling for. So, thanks for joining us today. I'm James Murphy. I'm a Global Product Manager for Cloudpack for Security. And today, I'm just looking to go through to sort of lay down the challenges that we see in front of us from a security perspective, how that applies to you, what we're doing in terms of our strategy and approach to address that, and how Cloudpack for Security can help. If I've got time and I don't get the red light, then I'll try and do a quick run through of some of the screens so you can see what it's like as well. But ultimately today, as you can all appreciate, there's a lot going on. We've had like a good couple of years of a pandemic, and with that has come lots of challenges in terms of where people work, how they work, where the data is, and how teams, whether that's cybersecurity teams trying to protect businesses or the businesses themselves are working from. And so with all of that, we've got, as always, an ongoing threat in terms of cyber attacks coming in many different forms, whether that's phishing attacks, ransomware, so on and so forth. And it's really about trying to make sure that we can, align the best tools in the best place with best teams to make the most out of what we have and ensure that we're in the fight for the right reasons. So in terms of the undergoing rapid transformation, we've already alluded to this, and you'd have heard about this in a lot of the other presentations as well. But ultimately, you would see there's a shift to hybrid cloud, meaning that infrastructure is distributed both in on-premise, in multiple clouds, and as are the security tools as well that are protecting those critical business assets as well. There's increasing regulatory and privacy demands to be able to actually ensure that where data is shared, that it's addressed to regulations in different geographies. Where you've got remote workforce, it's trying to ensure that you're able to access that everywhere and be able to address those evolving threats. So in that digital transformation, cybersecurity across all of the different Cloudpacks you've heard is essentially essential to underpin all of those different elements, because whether you're driving a business or whether you're driving a cybersecurity business, ultimately the digital future requires security to be able to deliver trust, to be able to deliver privacy, resilience, and compliance. Customers demand it. The business's reputation and the customer's reputation depends on it, and so that's why it's so important. But we already know this story in terms of, we've already got plenty of security tools from multiple different vendors. But the challenge here is that traditional security can't keep pace. Many cybersecurity programs weren't built to handle this level of complexity and transformation that's going on today. And security leaders and security teams are pressed with too much to do, too many vendors, multiple tools from multiple different vendors, whether that's endpoint security tools, cloud-based security dashboards, whether that's data lakes or data security solutions as well, from multiple different vendors with too much complexity and too many alerts. The challenge with this is whether you're working across identity and access management, data security, application security, network security, endpoint security, to be able to look after all of the many different business functions that you need to operate and the business tools that you're creating. Typically, the tools that have been deployed in silos by individual teams. Those teams may have done some integrations across the tools, but they're ad hoc, they're hard to maintain, and it's hard to get visibility across all of them. So it's really about trying to make maximum use of the existing tools that you've got, make maximum use of those already stretched security teams that you've got and personnel to make sure that they can respond and get visibility on the most important things that are there. Simply put, clients need to really be able to transform their security program to be able to keep up with their businesses with lots to do and lots of vendors, lots of complexity. It's really about being able to adopt a zero trust framework and build a security program based on the principles of least privilege and least trust, and be able to adopt a trust framework that's got a clear blueprint and way forward. Clients are telling us that they need to work with trusted partners like IBM and be able to get more out of their existing investments. So the zero trust approach is really about establishing least privilege, verify continuously, assume breach. And as I said, it's a framework, and really we're building a platform to enable that framework. It won't come down to a single tool or platform to address zero trust. It's really about a wider ongoing platform and program of work. But essentially, we can help to reduce those security risks with linking together the tools and be able to give that visibility. And this will help all those digital transformations. IBM as a whole has a very sophisticated portfolio of security offerings, from actual software, such as Cloudpack Security, and many other pieces across threat management, data security, and identity, and also in terms of managed security services. And the beauty is that blending them together, we can give the best of both breeds to be able to give all of the visibility people need to align to the business strategy, to be able to protect identities, manage defenses, and be able to modernize the security architecture, reusing what you've got to be able to get to the right things at the right time, with that managed platform. So what does this look like? As I've alluded to, Cloudpack for Security, like all the others, built on OpenShift, means that customers can deploy it where they want, on-prem, in a different cloud vendor, but also we have a SaaS offering as well, so people can just use it from the cloud. It connects to all those different point security solutions that you see in the grey bar at the bottom, whether that's an endpoint solution, a SIM solution, that's a security information and event management system, data lakes, whether that's IBM software or third parties, and using bespoke platform services built for security to connect to them, to get activity information, asset information, enrichment, be able to collect assets, share them across security teams, and be able to get automation orchestration to streamline operations. This stacks across threat management. We've rebranded that to QRadar XDR as a suite. We have data security in the form of Guardian, Verify in the form of identity and access management, which we'll build on over time, and of course an open ecosystem. People across the threat management space have seen huge improvements across visibility, detection, investigation, and response workflows, whether that's increasing their response by 8 times or being able to get better visibility across reducing the mean time to detection from a visibility perspective. So if I try and flip across quickly to a live screen, I will do that, and I just need to be able to get to that. So I am going to share different ones. This is a live test of my ability to be able to use the broadcasting item. So hopefully you can see my web browser now as well.
Yeah,
and you can see the UI. Okay, good. So that's
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Jesus, Taskmaster. Right, okay. So this is the dashboard where you land in for Cloudpack for Security. We've got all of the applications you can dive into. You can see a visibility across your estate and all of the information coming from multiple different connected tools. So these are from the different data sources. As I said, not just from IBM, endpoint solutions from the likes of CrowdStrike, SIM solutions from the likes of Splunk, maybe information coming from your AWS cloud, and maybe some data security information coming from Guardian. Ultimately, being able to use the tools that you've already got, connecting them in one place, having a seamless workflow across this platform for all of your security team, whether that's a threat hunter, an incident responder, a security team leader, and be able to get the best insights. If I dip into one, I'll go into Threat Investigator. This is essentially using all that connectivity and insights from the likes of SIM solutions as well, be able to triage this automatically to reduce the burn on the incident responder, be able to see where it is in the MITRE ATT&CK framework, which is a very heavily used framework, see what the different connections are between the different assets and endpoints, be able to delve into information down the side to see again against the MITRE ATT&CK techniques, but also pulling in threat intelligence, not only from IBM's renowned threat intelligence team, but also from third parties as well. You'll see this data is from CrowdStrike and not from the IBM product, and that's all pulled in. You can go into investigation triggers from this timeline because you can see what's happened where. You can see this malicious IP address and the fact that it's instigated from this place. You can drill into that and see that IBM information has been pulled in here in terms of threat intelligence. It's a suspicious IP. It's been reported as such. Other threat reports validate that. You can delve into the threat report to get more information about what it is, who reported it, when, and share that across the teams. But then you can also dip back into this and actually look at the attack graph to actually see, how this has progressed, where the pivot point was, where the lateral movement was made across the different endpoints, and be able to mitigate it properly. Now, I've not really given this justice because I've had to do this within the 3-minute time barrier I've been given, but you'll get a feel for all in one place, in one platform, using existing security tools that people have already got. The security team can work together. They can reduce the amount of manual tasks that they're doing, rely on automation, pull in AI over time, and you can use that whether it's from our SaaS solution or from a solution you can deploy where you need it the most. And that's what's hugely powerful about Cloudpack for Security. It's an open platform based on the OCA, the Open Cybersecurity Alliance, and driving that forward so that it's able to address more of the zero trust principles along the way. So I'm probably right up on time, but they were the key pieces that I wanted to share. And hopefully that gives you a flavor of Cloudpack for Security as well.
That was really good. James, thank you so much. Totally loved the live demo piece also as part of your pitch. Awesome. Good job. Let me stop the timer. As said, super on time. And by the way, folks, what you see here, right, the look and feel of the application, right, this I would say this very modern user experience that we have here that's sort of true for the other cloud packs. I mean, what you saw in the pictures, basically on the slides, that's has sort of the same touch and user experience and the feeling also when it comes to the live system. And as said, we are totally open, to get you more on the hands-on things, rolling up the sleeves and doing these things together and guiding you, but not in the 10 minutes. That's a little bit too less time. But okay, come to this next. Now, do we have questions for James, Miriam?
No, we don't. And James has been very punctual and has actually left the stream as well.
Okay, awesome. I would have had one question, but okay, maybe we can ask him later and put it into the description.
No, that's him back. Oh, we do have a question. I'm gonna try and see if James is still here.
Here's yes. In the chat. Cool. Very good. And Gerard, you can get ready when you're there. We are almost going to you. Hi, James. Good to have you back. Awesome. Yeah, Miriam, you had the question, right? Otherwise, I would really like to know more about the Open Cybersecurity Alliance. But maybe Miriam.
Okay, I'll read the question. The question's from Johnny. Does this security UI in your browser also link you to code vulnerabilities and suggest solutions?
So we are working in that direction. So in terms of what I showed in terms of Threat Investigator, it does some automatic triaging in the background of the information that you've got coming into the system. And we are actually working, part of that is augmented by AI in terms of Watson for Cyber. So that's in the back end in terms of threat intelligence that we're feeding in. And we're actually working in terms of a roadmap to be able to actually start to provide more recommended suggestions in terms of remediations. But we do have playbooks as well, so people can see things like malware plays and be able to pull in playbooks as well. And I'm happy to answer a question on the Open Cybersecurity Alliance if we've got one too.
Yeah, I would like to know, what role is the Alliance playing here with regards to the Cloudpack?
Sure. I mean, it's a key role, really. I mean, actually, IBM was a co-founder of the Open Cybersecurity Alliance as well, which is critical in terms of, we see this as a central sort of tenet to Cloudpack for Security as a security platform, to be an open security platform, to be able to provide, integrations to many different tools and allow people to collaborate on it, because it's the only way of really crowdsourcing the ability to be able to fight all of these threats that are in front of us. And so we've donated things like Stick Shifter, which was the key thing to be able to search on all of these indicators of compromise across the platform. And that's embedded in the platform, but we've also contributed that back as technology into the Open Cybersecurity Alliance community as well, along with our threat hunting language, which was also pushed out this year as well, which is amazing in terms of giving the threat investigators and threat hunters a real edge in terms of being able to do complex searches across all of the different pivots that the threat actors may actually try and do. So yeah, major innovation from IBM, but in an open way to be able to contribute that back as an open platform to help build out and deliver against the zero trust principles and framework.
Understood. Thank you, James. And I think open source is really also it's sort of at the base of the heart of IBM. I mean, we are in open source since more than 20 years. Not only since we acquired Red Hat, right? I mean, open source is with us since 2 decades and even more. People out there doesn't know that, but we at IBM are really relying a lot on open source and use open source and enabling part of the customers. Yeah. So thank James for putting this out. Thank you so much. All right, then I think we can come to Gerard once again. Thanks for being there again, Gerard. We would sort of to really have this full circle. Can you explain how can the deployment work? Sort of orchestration and how does it accelerate actually the journey of the people interested in these technologies? And I will pull up the deck for you. I know I have it on my end. Let me go there. Just a couple of seconds.
Why you do that, Sebastian? Thank you. We had a very amazing session on solution, and the session and the speaker brought me to a few questions. The first one from Beate. She talked about Cloudpack for data that you had to bring to your data. And I thought about bringing a system that brings you Cloudpack for data to your data. And from Bill, I heard about Cloudpack for automation, help you to run what runs your business. What will be if you had the infrastructure that helps you to bring Cloudpack for automation to your business? From Morgan, you need, when it's complex, to bring autopilot. What's about the autopilot? How do I move forward with the acceleration on the Cloudpack? From Aiden, I had another topic that was very interesting. It's about the automation, especially at the edge. So in a very small infrastructure, how do you bring automation there? And finally, from James, I got the point. When you have the best tool, it's not the best tool if you don't have the security and the visibility. So, and now the question is, how do you bring that together? How do you bring that in a way that the possibility will be delivered with the capability? And on that way, it's going to bring you a capability for that. And one of the candidates is called Cloud Satellite. Cloud Satellite is the enabler for distributed cloud and a privileged place for Cloudpacks. Why? Because Cloud Satellite delivers the concept that is called distributed cloud. And if you look at Gartner and at the Gartner terminology, this is the distribution of public cloud services to different physical locations. So in the way with the Cloudpack, you can distribute your Cloudpacks to different locations. On this way and with this concept, you solve many challenges. Of course, all the challenges brought by the speaker that I talked about a few minutes ago, but also it reduces the general operational complexity because it brings the Red Hat OpenShift cluster environment almost everywhere. It enables you to get a managed service at any location. It supports an end-to-end security where the data and the workload are located. So there's no need to move data and workload through the net. You have your workload somewhere, and then you can operate with your workload there. And of course, in the concepts of satellite, it simplifies the management through centralized monitoring, shared identity, and access control. So now if you look at the two blocks that we have, the public cloud and the enterprise block, for the setup of the satellite, you use either your own infrastructure that is on your on-premise data center, or that could be on a cloud provider or at the edge in the case of Aiden. By distributing the service of the satellite link, this is the small link between the two locations, the public cloud location and the enterprise location. So by distributing the services, satellite allows you to run cloud services consistently and to deploy, manage, and control your app workloads. As I said, because it's a managed service, it eliminates the need to overburden DevOps and SRE resource internally. So that means it reduces the complexity and it solves the crucial problem of ready-to-run platform for hybrid cloud. Besides these facts, the rapid deployment of packs in that environment has also other numerous benefits. For example, the single point of control. You see the app version. You can be sure that with the app version, this version is deployed and updated properly everywhere where you need it. And this is also helpful in the situation of a complex environment and working with Kubernetes. It's not so easy sometimes. So this is also helpful to transform a complex environment into a distributed environment, simple to manage. As I said,
just one moment, sorry to interrupt, Gerard. Sebastian, can you go into full screen mode on your PowerPoint,
I actually
please?
am.
Are you sharing PowerPoint or your screen? I'll just stop
Thank
sharing
you.
for you. Could you share your screen perhaps
let me do
instead?
that. So, sure. No, you're welcome, not a problem. Entire screen. Allow.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, thanks, David. Is that better?
Yes, that's
okay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Sebastian. So another advantage is about the data retention, and especially in the case for the Cloudpack for data, since the data can be saved and run locally. So if the regulation requires it, data remain in country or remain on site. And with the satellite approach, you run your packs where you have your data, and your data stay in your data center or on premise. And on that way, the security concerns can be solved. Another benefit is when data stay on premise or in your data center or where you have the data, then this is the data processing. It can be done close to the data, and in that way, we reduce the latency, especially when you use AI and analytics. So these are a few, as I said, benefits of moving forward with technology and an enabler for distributed cloud. This is the cloud satellite. We have different use cases around that. One of our famous, this is a university clinic in Mainz. We use satellite in these cases. So that's all for my part. Thank you for listening. Now back to Sebastian and Miriam.
Thank you, Gerard. Very good, very interesting. You know, it seems that the satellite really is a great vehicle to make use of the Cloudpacks in a faster way, and also combining certain things. You know, and I think that in these Cloudpacks, you know, that's really something in for like you know, for developer, data scientists, and the admin, security experts, up to executives. Everything is sort of there in these Cloudpacks. Yeah, thank you, Gerard, for also bringing this up and explaining that. I think, Miriam, it's time for our last poll, right? We would like, maybe you can take, yes. Yeah, you can maybe call out the last poll for today.
So at the start of today's session, we asked you which topic interests you most. That data was business automation, AI ops, integration, network automation, or security. And what we'd like to hear from you now is, has your answer changed? So there's a poll at the bottom of the live stream in Crowdcast. Unfortunately, not on YouTube, but you can carry on typing in the chat. We're getting a lot of emojis, claps and smiles and thumbs up on YouTube. So there's some votes coming in on Crowdcast as we speak. So there is some changes in answers. I hope that means this session was very useful for you. I've certainly learned a lot. We've also got a mix of developers and engineers, IT professionals, and other people joining us today. So it's great to have you all with us.
Thank you.
Yes, so that's the poll. I'll pass.
Thank you, Miriam. And since, you know, I cannot see the results at the moment because I'm sharing, I'm super excited to look into it like in 7 minutes or so. All right. Now we come to an end here. I would like to quickly explain sort of the next options or next steps that you might have. You see here sort of these four a la carte or cherries you could pick to continue the journey with either Cloudpack, with all Cloudpacks, with certain aspects of a Cloudpack. So the technology that you learned, right, from data to security today, we can explore this with you further. And as introduced earlier, you know, you can, for instance, get in touch with me. I'm your single point of contact. Yeah. So if for any questions, anything you would like, you can directly come to me. I'm gonna forward it to the respective colleagues internally here. So please reach out to me if you like. The contact will be there in a second. So if you would like, you know, to sort of do a discovery workshop with us and invest a half day, may it be virtually, may it be on site or in a combination, you can really have our experts explaining you all the details, showcasing you the Cloudpack or the technology on any assets you would like to see, play around yourselves, discuss use cases, do some sort of design thinking, if you like, you know, sort of really brainstorm what this technology can mean to you for the next big thing, or when you have the next technology decision point, you would like to decide, you know, on this or the other way, then get in touch and make use of the discovery workshops. We can also help you with a free technical enablement, so we can train you on anything inside all of these technologies that you learned about today. Yeah, so maybe a different thing for, maybe how to develop certain things, or using data science or AI, up to as said, to the security pieces that we saw from James at the end, how to use these tools and incorporate into your business or processes, or AI or the autopilot, all everything you have learned today can be trained individually to you, totally free of charge, if you like, to get in touch. And on the POC or MVP side, for the MVPs, we offer it free of charge, for, let's say, first come, first serve base. So we would like, to guide you to build an MVP together with you, as said, for free, like in 6 to 8 weeks. And we can even do it for free up to 20 weeks. So it would be done my team doing it. So in case you would like to make use of this pre-funded service from IBM to co-build an MVP together with you, get in touch. I sell the same for the POC or POT. And on the right-hand side, the little star that you see here, the what's new sessions. Yeah, so the product managers will open up these sessions for business partners only. Yeah, so the rest is open for everyone, basically, but the what's new sessions are for business partners only. We would like to have dedicated sessions because the partners sort of, scale and multiply to many customers, right? So we do this for the partners, and they multiply then in their ecosystems. Yeah, so, and this is once a quarter. Let me know when you're interested to make use of either of the things that you see here, or if you have any question, right, get in touch. Here's my email address. I think Miriam already posted it also, that we are available on LinkedIn, for instance. So get in touch. Ideally here via email, then it's more in my focus, and I can react faster. And I think, Miriam, maybe a last call out from you regarding feedback.
Yes, thank you so much, Sebastian. So we've had a lot of feedback, and we really appreciate it along the way. We have got a link to a feedback form, and it's just 3 questions. You can give us your feedback on today's pitch battle in just 3 clicks. I've posted the link in the chat there on Crowdcast, and we'd love to hear what you thought of today's pitch battle. It's the first time we've done an event of this kind, and as you can see, it was very fast-paced. We had very well-timed pitches, I must say. Sebastian, kudos to you for the managing the traffic light. It was excellent. Yeah, so if you'd like to let us know what you thought of this session, and the link is in the chat, so you can let us know.
Thank you, Miriam. Exactly.
A gentle reminder, just one last point from my side. The recording will be available for today's session if you just hit the refresh button. It's available at the same link, so crowdcast.io/e/product manager pitch battle. And so you can watch it again and again to your heart's delight right after the live stream.
Right. Thank you, Miriam. Thanks to all speakers. Thanks, Gerard. Thanks, audience, for being here today. Have a good one. Hope to see you again soon. Get in touch. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.